Welcome to the weekend show with Mediumjay. Jalen Brunson. We just finished the NBA Finals. Knicks secured the championship 4-1 in a series. It was awe-inspiring. This game, ladies and gentlemen, I was shadow boxing. I'm not a shadow boxing type of nigga. During the game, I'm watching, bro. The Spurs were up, I think, as large as 15 in the game, the whole game. Right around the fucking fourth quarter, or around the end of the third quarter, they start looking like it's gonna turn it around. Jalen, right now, Jalen Brunson is the fucking king of New York. He's the king. Bro, and this ushers in a new era, bringing home the NBA championships to New York. New York Knicks have been on. They haven't won since 1973, so that is if my math is correct, a 53-year drought. That is insane. We are witnessing history. Now, Jalen Brunson's a short dude, too. He's a short king of New York. That motherfucker went up against Wembenyama. They call him the Eiffel Tower. He's from Paris, I think. I think he's from France. He's a French nigga. Tall ass, bro. I don't understand. Then the motherfucker, listen, he dunked like once in the game. In the entire game, I don't know how they blew a 15-point lead. Now, the Spurs, they're a young team. Castle didn't even show up. Castle, he had 2 points and I think 3 free throw. He had 5 points altogether. He got that last dunk to just try to get them back in, to make it look like they were getting back in. It was a tip. It was pretty much a dunk tip in from the wild 3-point from Wembenyama. Wembenyama was tired as fuck. That motherfucker played all of the minutes. But man, Jalen Brunson. Yeah, I know Spike Lee partying right now. Spike Lee out there. He's celebrating. Like this is like, bigger than any box office movie that he's, Spike Lee, notorious for being the diehard Knicks fan. 53 years of straight punishment for these boys. Jalen Brunson is that nigga, man. I am inspired, man. I want to go to I want to play basketball right now. It's 11. You know what I mean? There ain't no gym. Gym's open at this time, but it's one of those things where I was tired. I didn't even get that much sleep today. I'm like, all right, I'll watch the game. Probably gonna, Knicks are probably gonna blow them out. I'm like, oh, the Spurs. I was literally the whole game. I'm like, this is such a good game. I want the Spurs to win. I was going for the Spurs just because the tall nigga. He's the tallest nigga. And Castle. I like Castle. Castle did not show up that game. Jalen Brunson had literally, I'm telling you guys, literally 45 fucking points. The entire team had 49, I think. That motherfucker, he did all of the work. At one point, they threw up a stat and said this. He has there's no points on the bench. There's no points on the bench, and Jalen Brunson's the only guy. He's already there with 20 points. He in this quarter he's got like 20. In the third quarter he had like 20 or something. Or it was some wild stat, and then they're like that all of the San Antonio Spurs bench has 21 points. It was like they were playing against one nigga, right? And I don't know how, they need to I would be, I don't know, man. I would be literally bashing my head against the locker room going, what the fuck did we do wrong? And even in the previous game, what was it? Was it game 4? They were up like 20. There were 29 in them. They had 29 on them, and they still broke down. I don't know if it's like the celebrity power, but it was I watched that game, the previous one, game 4, and I was listening to Shea 45, right? I made a song way back a few months ago that probably I talked some shit. I hopped on an Eminem beat, right? I said fuck it. I'm a slime out everyone on Shea 45. Come on, I'm a comedy rapper. We do comedy over here. Sometimes I get a little too into the character. Sometimes the character. Sometimes you go home with that Joker face paint on a little too, and you start dancing around with a knife in a hotel room, taking pills. I was listening to Shea 45 on XM satellite radio, and I think Who Kid was going in. He was like, why the motherfuckers won, the Knicks run, and they're going in because it's fucking in New York radio. They're going in going like, oh, it's the Wu-Tang. They played nothing but Wu-Tang, and I'm like, oh, the Knicks are gonna win tonight. Like the Knicks are gonna win, right? You got the whole radio station, flooding the airwaves. You're getting the sonic sounds. It's the broadcasting thing. There's a feel going on. Again, another. I said this on stream, on Twitch TV, Cash Leaders Twitch TV. Give your boy a follow. It feels like a movie, man. This whole thing, and even in NHL. The NHL feels like a movie. Carolina hasn't won in a long ass time, and they're up already. Whether they're up, it's 3-1 for Carolina right now. It should be interesting, but man, Jalen Brunson's that nigga, man. Short Kings. It's the year of the short niggas. It's the short nigga season. It's the short nigga season, guys. I'm telling you, man. That motherfucker's like 6'2". 6'3". I don't know. He's the height of fucking Ja Morant, my favorite. They're both the same, but he plays with intensity. And there was for the people that watch this game, you guys know. I don't know what I was watching. At a certain point, I was like, yo, are they gonna bring out boxing gloves? Because they just foul. In the first half, there was at least like 30 fouls between both of them right off the bat. It was ridiculous. There was like multiple flagrant fouls. Towns got thrown, Toes or whatever got thrown. The big nigga got thrown out. Everybody on that fucking court hit the floor at least one point or another. They just hit the floor on some like weird aggressive shit, and the refs would call weird. They on that last play, Jalen Brunson got like multiple fouls. He like almost got backcourted violation, and then he passed it, and then they let the foul. So it's like, yo, there's something going on with the NBA refs. They're just it is. There's a thing. I don't know if because I guess they get paid per game, so they probably want to draw. This is the last game this is the last chance to make your quota, right? Now, when your boss says, "Hey, you want to work overtime?" You know what I mean? Just finish up this whatever you're doing. Finish it up this whatever you're doing. You're building fucking a house or something, and you're like, "Well, I gotta make my money. I gotta. If we're getting overtime, you're gonna take a little bit. You're gonna take a little bit longer. Why make it 1 hour overtime when you could drag it up to 4 hours overtime?" And I think that ultimately plays a part. And Spurs, they were in the Spurs. There was just a lot of weird calls. But man, the NBA, man, it's fucking. A lot of speculation about it being rigged. But there is also that when like it's Field of Dreams type. It's fucking like, what is it? The 6 Man movie. It's like a movie. bro, the Knicks haven't won in 53 years. To preface, I'm 32, right? So my entire life, and another 2/3 of it. If 53 years, these guys have 1973. The Knicks haven't brought it home. Those guys, man, and shouts out to Jalen Brunson. I think who is that other one? Joshua Jason Johnson. I don't know. One of that other nigga. He just was surprised. He looked like a slave that got caught trying to sneak an apple pie from the white mass. He looked like he was every time they panned to that nigga. Whenever something happened, he just looked. Hope they didn't catch me, fouling or doing some dirt. Because everyone was giving pushes. There was multiple pushes, multiple flagrants. It was a brawl, and Jalen Brunson carried himself. I love you just won NBA. You just won. I don't know how. I said it with Tom Brady a few years back when Tom Brady won the Super Bowl. For the last time or whatever after coming out of retirement. I go, how do these guys they wipe out? I guess they have the super. It's NBA, so they have the super synthetic cloth, the super absorbent, whatever the Bounty quick picker upper of sweat. But I'm like, yo, you literally put the team on your back, Jalen Brunson, and this nigga's not. I don't understand how there's not a bead of sweat coming down. This motherfucker was clear like me. I just sat down and watched a game and I'm kind of sweating still. But this motherfucker had composure, he didn't say nothing, because you could easily have been like, yo, they played dirty, right? The Spurs kind of hit. I mean, it was a brawl. There was a lot of fouls that weren't called on Brunson, and he took that in stride. Well, as much as NBA players do. I don't know. The one thing that Jalen Brunson I don't like about this guy, he always, I don't like the jerk back head. You know what I mean? It's become almost a meme. But when I see guys at the Y do that shit, I'm like, yo, you keep jerking your head back, bro. If I put a hand in your face, foul. I rub your chin, the hair on your beard, foul. You know what I mean? The wind from my hand hits your face, foul. So, motherfucker, there's girls screaming in the bleachers for foul. your girlfriend at home crying because she's on her period, foul. Foul. Yo, they just keep it's just that, at a certain point, whenever I see a nigga, and this will be in person because I can't just tell Jalen Brunson, hey, listen, there's never gonna be a point when I'm on the court with this nigga unless I get my money up, unless you guys, with this podcast and the raps, Worm God Part 2, hopefully, I'll play with this nigga, and I won't give him. I'll be like, yo, that ain't a foul, bro. You know what I mean? There's constantly if I'm going, you can't do that. When you're guarding a motherfucker, you sometimes put your hand on their chest. You just keep doing. I'm like, yo, I'll call these guys out when I'm playing ball now. Next time, man. You jerking your head back so much, you're gonna give yourself a fucking concussion, bro. You're fucking CTE jerking your head back all the time. It's the anticipatory flop, and there was a lot of flopping, but there was a lot of actual fouls too that also didn't get called. So, and man, it was. But the you could tell Brunson wanted it so badly because you could see it was like he was playing the game. He wasn't even playing the game. This was his life. This was on the. He's like, we're not going to Game 6. Yeah, it would have been Game 6. This is Game 5. We're not going to Game 6. We're not even giving a chance for Game 6 to get maybe the Game 7. I'm winning. In your town, this is San Antonio too, the crowd at a certain point when Knicks started winning, they got louder. They got louder than the fans at home. There was so many Knicks fans in there that it sounded like it was a Knicks game. And man, awe-inspiring. Fucking inspiring, ladies and gentlemen, man. I just, when I sat at home watching this game, I thought to myself, right? I said, this tall ass nigga, 7'5" The nigga's got 4 wingspan. You know what I mean? This nigga's built like. If you put in NBA 2K right now, and you just put them all, just make them tall, make the nigga tall, make it the tallest nigga. The nigga that can just do this on his tip. He could dunks on his tippy toes. Dunked one time. I only seen one dunk. I came in on around the end of the second quarter. I seen this nigga Wembanyama dunk once. How is it? And he's only getting tips. He's getting tip-ins and then the motherfucker is, why is Wembanyama bringing it up the court? Get to the paint every time. Wembanyama here, he had to have been this. This is why the Spurs were just fucking winging it out there. I don't know. It's a new team. These guys are young. Wembanyama's he has to be like what? Like a few. And he's not a rookie, but there's a couple guys that weren't rookies, but they're 4 or 5 years in, as opposed to dudes that have been in there for 10. I mean, LeBron James is. I don't know if LeBron James is looking to play again. But I don't know, man. It's the great. I think NBA is the greatest sport. There's that. Oh, and they didn't even call. No, there's one when Wembanyama was in the space. Now, if you ever played basketball, for the people that just watch basketball, the personal landing foul or whatever, that is like it's upgraded to a flagrant because there's so many guys that fucking roll their ankle because if you're doing a jump shot, you have to come down. You're jumping in the air, you have to come down, and if a guy goes to guard you, but then he's lands where you should land and you land on his foot, you're landing on such a weird angle that you roll your ankle, your shin splints out. You could fucking there's a few dudes' careers ended when their fucking leg just snaps out. I think it happened actually on one of the New York Knicks teams, possibly. One of the guys on the team, but like that is the most. And Jalen Brunson took it all in stride. He took that shit. Motherfucker looked like he landed. Clearly, his foot was on like a. When your foot lands like a pyramid, you're fucking jolting your knee. He was down. He was yelling at the refs. No call. Play on, boys. It was ridiculous. Wembanyama, he's such a big nigga. It's so hard to not be in the way of anything. Because he's going to be, you know what I mean? This motherfucker, I got an 8-foot table, right? Check out the last podcast. I go into detail about how good this table is. This motherfucker could, well, I could almost wingspan it. But this motherfucker could probably, well, I don't know, his muscles, he's so stretched out, he doesn't have, like, solid, he's got a regular nigga build, to be honest, right? And I like Wembanyama, right? But I realized once they, I was like, why do they call him the French, the Paris Eiffel Tower? He's a tall nigga, okay. That's kind of weird. You could call him, I know there's so many tall things out there. Call them all, what kind, But I guess he's French, and I was like, well, that's why I don't like. There's something off. about when I looked at him, just on like, I was like, I don't know, but he seemed like a normal nigga, but he's French, right? And the French niggas, man, like, I don't know, man. They give up, right? They give up easy, right? It was fucking empty. Motherfucker, you're the tallest dude on the. There was at a certain point, the announcers in said game, Game 5 of the Knicks versus the Spurs, they had all their tall guys off because they kept getting fouled. They didn't want to get fouled out, so they had all their tall guys. They had just short niggas in rotation. They said in a finals game, this is the shortest you'll ever see the Knicks ever, because they just kept getting called on fouls. The big dudes to fucking big up. You know what I mean? I mean, you know, they essentially the goons. Oh man, it was. I don't know. I'm speechless. I'm in awe right now. Like much like Jalen Brunson, he didn't say much about winning. He was just happy, hugging his dad. And it's gotta, man, like just watching that shit, and I hear all this stuff about how like, oh, you know, these niggas in NBA, they're fucking, you know, they're like slaves. They're fucking playing basketball, man. That is literally the funnest game ever. They're making millions playing the funnest game ever. 200 games at a certain point does, you know what I mean? You play 200, you sign up to do 200 games in your life, right? But if that's all you did, right? LeBron James is still going, right? If you just, all you did, and you got millions of dollars to play basketball, it's an opportunity of a lifetime. Now, guys like Dr. Boyce Watkins wants these guys to, but they're basketball players, right? I don't think men like Ice Cube. I think started the Big Three. These niggas could essentially start a league and then get completely decimated by the NBA's weird legal shit that they have them all sign up for anyways. They have them probably on some weird contract, like rappers nowadays. They can't really. Once you're signed to some shit and making some money, you end up like Pooh Shiesty with Gucci Mane. I don't think they can get out. They're fucked. Legally, they're technically slaves. They have to play ball until, you know what I mean, they can't play no more, or no one wants them to play no more. But also, these niggas are ballers, bro. Like, they're the ballers, and like that fucking show with The Rock. They're not the smartest in terms of like business. I'm a rapper, and you know, a professional shit talker on the microphone. And I honestly, man, as much as I want to start a business, I had an opportunity. Like one of these girls at the little local Quickie Mart. You know what I mean? This like little fucking basically a 7-Eleven knockoff market by my place. She was telling me she's trying to open up a business, which is saving up money. I'm like, I got a bunch of money sitting in my bank account. But she's like, and I'm like, I would, yeah. And I kind of thought about it, and I'm like, this will never happen. They're all Eritrean. I'll be the only Kenyan. You know what I mean? I'll get done in like, I'll be so fucking roped in like Obama. Once I'm in there, I'm just a fucking puppet, kind of thing. And I'll be just fucking, you know, fucking I'll be stock boy, just ordering shit. And dude, it's fucking, my whole life isn't gonna be fucking opening up a fucking villa, you know, a bodega. That's, I don't know, and a lot of Eritreans and Ethiopians love that shit. They're in terms of African, they're the merchants, you know what I mean, like Indians, East Indians specifically, and Asians, I don't know, the Chinese are, bro, there's this guy, I get this vape from this Chinese guy. They're 24/7. Well, not 24/7, but every fucking day he's at that shop. It's just him. I've never seen anyone else work. He said sometimes my son works. I go, really? I've never seen your son. It's just been you. Right? Your son's probably fucking you're probably playing professional fucking League of Legends, you Chinese guy. It's, but like the merchant class of society, right? Simpsons made fun of Apu for being, he's, you know, it's to dedicate your life to a store. I worked, one of my first jobs actually was 7-Eleven. And I worked the night shift. And I knew this Chinese guy. And I probably brought this up on the podcast. And I'll bring it up again because this motherfucker's still working at 7-Eleven. And this motherfucker is miserable. When I first seen him, he was going, you know, they said, oh, you're going to take over this guy's, he's going to university, he's going to, you know, find something better eventually, right? You go to university to, you don't get out of university to go back to 7-Eleven. But yeah, fast forward, you know, 10 years, 20 years, I got my license, truck driving. I literally retired. I think I've retired from truck driving. I would rather just drive around delivering food. It's the thing about this economy is it's kind of the same. Be doing independent contractor work, you get about the same amount of money as an actual, once all the union or, you know, the taxes come off, the fact, well, it's the fact that you're not renting you're renting someone else's equipment at a job. I think that's the main reason why jobs are so cheap, is because they're like, these people don't have any ties to the, so you're not really like, you know, like I'll get into a crash with a truck at the place and I go, I don't care, I'm so detached because we don't get paid a lot. If we got paid, you know, decently, maybe I wouldn't crash nearly as much. And I did, and it's not like I just go around crashing, but the trucking industry, and I think Elon, I don't know if it might have been a meme that I seen or some weird dream that Elon Musk's got to start. For whatever reason, you see these stupid posts where it's like Elon Musk actually went away from his father's and mother's mine shaft in Africa, his, you know, emerald mine shaft. He wanted to get away and earn his own thing, so he started becoming a truck driver. Once he realized how hard the truck drivers are working, the pointless hours, he went into coding. He went into like an actual thing where you can actually start something and make your own. And he made PayPal or something. I don't know how true that is, but the amount of hours that they force upon the average guy to drive is always, it's criminal. Every single job I can say will force you into doing criminal activity. Now, because it's all this legal shit and you sign all these documents, you basically are, like, if you ever admit that or you go there, they will fucking be like, you did it, right? We didn't force you to do it. But it's that ever hanging carrot that goes, hey man, like, if you don't do this though, we'll find a guy from India that will do. And that's what kind of sucks so much about companies in general, because I realized, I think I'm not a business owner. I mean, I started a label, right? I don't know what the fuck I always say that I'm not a business, but I guess I am essentially, but it's horrible. It's going horrible. Cash Leaders, it's a joke. It started off as a joke, but it quickly evolved into actual good music. And we are ever expanding. Like the amount of music that I've pumped out, and looking back at some of the music that I've made, I was listening to it just today, and I'm like, I was listening to John Krasinski, and I remember going like, dude, the creativity that I have, and I go, that's just it's like that was a throwaway. But the John Krasinski song, when I listened to it, I'm like, this literally, it would be someone's like main song. That would be their bread and butter song. They'd milk it in Houston or Atlanta for fucking decades. And I just was like, that literally was, I thought it would just be a funny thing to do. Maybe I literally was like, if John Krasinski listens to this and smiles, that's all I care about. You know what I mean? I had this weird thing when I was younger where I'm like, I'm gonna dedicate like one song to each individual, and I realized how hard it is because these motherfuckers keep making, people keep getting born every day. All right, so it would be impossible. I'd need at least 7-8 billion songs, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go on everybody's beat. Lil Wayne gets on a lot of beats. You know what I mean? The mixtape eras, rappers hopping on other beats, sampling. I'm gonna hop on everybody's beat. Now that, in theory, is good. Until you realize, you gotta tell people. At one point, you tweet out, "Guys, stop making music. I got a backlog catalog of beats that I gotta hop on and kill you rappers on. But stop fucking making new shit." Y'all motherfuckers keep making new shit. I can't keep up, bro. How many? And you look at what made me stop is when I read this statistic of like 7,000 songs get uploaded to Spotify every day. So I'd be like, okay, I gotta make 7,000 songs today, and tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day. If you want to keep doing that, then I realized, once I think, Gods Amongst Men, I didn't realize I had it, but I did have it at that point. The Medium effect for sure was when I dropped Mortals Make Messiahs, and then in between I dropped the Medium effect, and I did Mortals Make Messiahs, the Mortals, and then there's the second edition, which essentially was just a whole album that I broke down into, which is much like Worm God. Worm God was going to be a full 30-something, or at least 20-something album project. But I broke it down into 9 songs because the way streaming works nowadays, it doesn't matter. Like you could release every single, then put all the singles together, put them on an album, drop that half or an EP, drop the EP, then drop this said EP with all the singles and some other singles that you've collected in and then put another EP, so you have 2 EPs, then drop those 2 EPs, put them together as an album. And collectively, the streaming sites like Spotify, for example, will still, the moment you day of release that album with all those singles that are previously released, they still count. So if you got like 1,000 songs on each, or 1,000 streams or whatever on each thing, right? Let's just say 1,000, right? On each of those things. So you got 10 songs, 5 on each EP that you've already dropped, and then it's recumulated more listens because people hop on going, oh yeah. And that's why they redo Michael Jackson every now and then, or any kind of fucking the remastered version, because it's the same. They could just drop the same thing, and it still counts as the streams, because if you put it the original first, you release Billie Jean again, it's accumulated. So it goes, Billie Jean has, we'll say Billie Jean has 1 billion streams. Probably has more, maybe 100 billion, whatever. I don't know. But let's just say it has 1 billion streams. Michael Jackson's dead, but his estate releases Billie Jean again, but they don't even change it. They don't change anything. They title it the remastered version for the first day. The first day, it's the exact same so it automatically gets 1 billion streams, and it hits the algorithm. It's Michael Jackson. It'll always hit. But let's just say if you're an unknown artist, you take that accumulative streams that you had of that previous single, and you have 10 singles that all have whatever amount of streams. The moment you drop that first album, it still counts all those streams that happened on the single. So you go, I made 1 million streams, but you only made 25,000, not 250,000 there, 250, or you know what I mean, 300,000, or you had your bread and butter that hit 1 million streams already. Now you package all the songs that you don't really care about, along with that 1 million stream single that is your actual popular song. You put a bunch of songs where you probably won't get nearly as much because they're not as popular, the B-sides, onto that album. That album still has 1 million streams. before anyone even listens to it, because that's how the algorithm is. That's how a lot of these. That's why a lot of these artists and rap in particular don't give two shits about anything, right? That's why these guys will drop the same single on various projects, because that single is holding weight, and it's the counterweight. It just constantly gives them a million. So the streams algorithm, the robots go, oh, this album has a million streams. Let's keep popping it up in people's feed because it just hit a million. Must be doing good. It must be working. And that's why a lot of this stuff, it fucking, you go like, why are these guys releasing the same? It's because it's the only way to actually fucking really pop up again, because unless you can guarantee people will click on your album, and most people are struggling. Dude, guys like famous guys are dropping, like Offset. I'm like, when did Offset release an album last year? I didn't know. Start listening to Offset and Gunna. Gunna's been dropping like crazy. Gunna's been hitting. But everyone's favorite rapper that they love to hate, I fucking hate this nigga, Russ, such a for a guy that has all the money in the world, he's a bum. And in that movie, he was a fucking loser. In that one movie on Netflix with Kid Cudi being super gay at a time when, you know, you were complaining about Diddy blowing up your car and Diddy fucking your dog and everything, and then now he's showing up in a Netflix movie with long blonde hair, winking at the main anti-hero guy. I don't know what Kid Cudi's doing, but yo, shouts out to Kid Cudi, by the way. Repressed Doubts doing numbers on Spotify. So shouts out to this Kid Cudi. We'll talk business eventually, I think. Lawyer up, bro. Lawyer up, Kid Cudi. I'm taking your money like Diddy. I'm gonna fuck your dog in front of you, Diddy. Like I'm gonna do you worse than Diddy. I'm gonna slit your dog's neck while I'm looking you in the eyes. Nah, I fuck with Kid Cudi. You know, it's hard. You know, it's hard to come up with a single like Day and Night, because, you know, people will call you a one-hit wonder. I really like I'm Just What You Made, God. I like that song with Kingship. You know, I like the rappers, hanger-oner guys. I like the rappers, like the famous rappers, like Lil Wayne and Corey Guns. There's that guy. Or Lil Wayne and like Lil Twist had a few bangers with him. Lil Twist is a good rapper, but for whatever reason, they only show out with the main rapper. They'll be like, every rapper has like their hanger-oners, and not really hanger-on. They're friends, right? They're buddies that they put on, and their buddies show out. Like even like my brother, whenever my brother would want Julius, whenever he wants to do a song, I'm like, yo, you ready? Because we're gonna make magic, right? This guy, he comes with it, and I feel like I get reinvigorated. Much like Jalen Brunson, when his teammates finally did start scoring, this motherfucker putting on 40 points by himself. Hey guys, it's time to. In the third quarter, it's time to show up. Castle, dude, Castle. What's Castle up to, man? I can't. I'm still kind of. I was going somewhere with mine. But the streams are. That's the mean thing. Is what's fucking is, because it's now no one's getting money off his streams. But the independents, because there's no real headway other than if you can go to the studio and pay your bills on time, and keep your distribution thing going, and pay your publish. I don't know. I gotta get a guy to work on my publishing, because I had one or two times when my shit was on the radio. Imagine one or two times, and not like local shit either. It was on Apple Radio. I remember I looked at it and it said one play on Apple Radio, one song on one thing. I remember there was this nigga, man, and this is all this for all of the hip hop artists. out there, everything's a scam. I realize that everything is a scam, right? If Jay-Z right now said, hey, I'm going to sign your ass, I go, it's a scam. It's a long play scam. I may be making, I may even make a billy. I might even get a billy somehow, right? Some weird clothing deal with Kanye West, and then, where we close up the gaps on the swastika, and it turns into a window or something, and we just call it Window Boys or something like that. Window shopper, fucking clothing etiquette. So we do something, and I make a bunch of money. But it's like I don't understand the underneath the guy, right? And Drake was underneath Lil Wayne, right? He's underneath Lil Wayne. Jay-Z said, with Drake that he's all attached to these labels. He's white people own his label. But Jay-Z famously, he said he owned the Brooklyn Nets. He owned like 0.02% of the Brooklyn Nets, right? He just paid. It's like essentially, like if I invested $5,000 into Google and I said I own Google, right? And Google's like, no, like we like your branding, you own Google now, but you don't really own Google. You just got like $5,000 in Google invest, but obviously not $5,000. It'd be probably like $250,000, $2 million, $3 million, whatever. But either way, the point is, I don't know. Jay-Z might own his stuff. But Jay-Z's I listen to some of the new Jay-Z music because Jay-Z has been dropping, and Jay-Z can't top his features with young, like Alicia Keys, that one song New York. His feature, Jay-Z's for whatever reason, Jay-Z's 99 Problems is a great song, don't get me wrong. But the hidden feature is the production, that crazy ass beat by Rick Rubin. It's essentially that Jay-Z's greatest thing is he's collaborating with other people. Now for me, I can do a verse with somebody, I could do some, I could take some, someone's beat that and I will make it undeniably better. I will take it and do better. I won't be like we're working side by side, in the studio. And this is why Jay-Z's downfall is so, like, I could just see it from when a nigga says I don't write, I just hit record kind of thing. I just make it up. You already failed. Lil Wayne famously said on that one song with Drake, which was crazy, because he always says he also fucking just, he don't write shit. I just go, I just flow. I don't write, motherfucker. And off the top gets you so far. Look at your last album, Lil Wayne. Look at your fucking Jay-Z's raps. When I was a kid, I used to, in my head, while I was working, I would visualize the lines that I had. So I had I had 2 songs that I remember distinctly that I wrote. And they're out there still. It was Midgets and Driving. I had in my head, and they're both on YouTube. They're not, they're over like a Soulja Boy and Zaytoven beat. So like I don't own them or anything like that. So they're not on like streaming services, but you could see on Cash Leader's YouTube. Back in the day, you had to scroll through some of the videos. The beautiful thing is I don't do so many videos that it gets lost beyond all my content on Cash Leaders. I actually like the 1 or 2 videos a year thing that I'll try to do a video this year. I don't know how it's gonna go. I'm really more of a rapper. Like I just make music, and for the most part a studio rapper. Right, but when these niggas say they don't write, I used to do that where I could visualize in my head, but it would still be in my head, kind of like, imagine if you could imagine a piece of paper, and I would write in my head the things, and I could remember, but I had to keep going through because I didn't have fucking photographic memory. I didn't have like that I can remember everything thing. I'd go okay, 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 and that line was shit. What was it? What was it? Okay. Don't think too much of it because every time you're trying to chase a thought, it always runs. It's like a rabbit, bro. You try to chase a rabbit, no, you sneak up on a rabbit. So you sneak. So yeah, okay, well, okay, got it. And I got it back. Okay, so I was I'll be fucking them midgets. That's the song, right? Hard to remember, fucking midget song. But it was, it was. But I'm like, that's a horrible way of collecting your thoughts, to just wing it every time you go in the studio with no idea other than let's just figure. We gonna figure it out together, bro. You know what I mean? And a dude sitting there going, hey, whenever you're ready, and you're just sitting there, in some namaste pose, collecting the energy or something. Like, no, fuck that. Bring some paper. Bring your phone or tablet with a bunch of fucking, with the Google documents that fucking never run out. You just keep adding pages, right? Put it, just fucking scroll through your thing. Okay, got a list of fucking 100 bars here, 100, 200 bars. You got a bunch of fucking rhyme schemes, and the beauty of, like, I was so, like Lil Wayne said, I don't write because when you write, you get so attached to the bars that you're so this that you don't want to change them. And I've learned over the years there is some form, like it's good to have a skeleton of rap for me, because I'll have this and then I'll go, okay, if I'm feeling how this sounds, I listen to it, hear it back. If not, we'll swap in this, or I can kind of I'll give myself an error of maybe 6 to 8 bars where I'm like, I could probably just make them up in the studio, granted the time. Bro, chill out. We'll have a quick smoke, or take a break, get some water. I'll write out a few lines. Now we got it, and that is I guess the improvisation, as much as I would do in the studio. Now for freestyling is a whole nother game. I like freestyling, but there definitely has to be, like, I will attribute the best freestyles I have are after an album. After I've done an album and I have all the fucking things written out and I recorded all the things and I've listened to my album, play a beat and I'm gonna kill it, right? That's why a lot of these rappers, when they go on these shows after they're promoting an album and they're on the radio shows, and you're like, how do these guys have these? I would say that they have a whole series of patterns and a whole series of probably things they left on the cutting table, right? There's maybe the odd song that didn't get cleared, or maybe just didn't fit in with the scheduling. Label said no, album's big enough as is. We don't want too many songs. Save it for later or scrap it. And the scraps, or you're just constantly you're in that mode of thinking of rhymes. It's a lot easier to just spit it, right? That being said, I did finish Worm God 2. Worm God 2 on the way. July 1st. Mortal Kombat just dropped on Friday, June 12th. So the 13th might come to you, for about 30 more minutes, and we'll hit the 12 a.m. mark, and it'll be June 14th. June 19th will be Sinners. We'll drop Sinners, which is a kind of spin-off of the actual movie Sinners, which honestly Mortal Kombat isn't really a spin per se. I was going to make Mortal Kombat. I didn't even realize they were making Mortal Kombat 2, which was perfect. Mortal Kombat the movie 2 is out in theaters, or it was out in theaters. I think it's now on streaming, which I was like, this is fucking beautiful, right? This is fucking amazing cross promotion. I wish they would I wish they would do something with me. I wish, like, literally, because I'm a big fan of Mortal Kombat. I want to see the new one. I seen the first one, the redone version, where Jax gets his arms frozen and then ripped off. Spoiler alert. from fucking Sub-Zero. I like that. Even the show, I was watching Mortal Kombat, the like failed show that they had. I think they only had one season, but they go through all of the main characters. They're like Johnny Cage, and they do a whole episode of Johnny Cage and how he got to be Mortal Kombat. I like that. Even though it's a bunch of unknown actors, it's probably an indie kind of film budget thing. It's dope. They do Kano. They show Jack. They show all those guys, and I don't know if they. I only watched 3 episodes. I gotta get thinking about. I totally forgot about it. But I'm like, I was watching it just high as fuck. Popped an edible, and I'm like, yo, this is amazing. Like this, because I'm a fan of. And I'm a fan of milking a franchise. If you could do it right, if you could milk a franchise correctly, whatever they did with Star Wars, right? My buddy said he's a big fan of Star Wars, Taylor, but I literally, I watched The Phantom of the Menace as a kid in the 90s. I was 6 at the time. I was, born in 94. It was 1999. My stepdad got Star Wars when we were in like Kelowna, BC or something. We went to BC, took a road trip of like 2 days to drive back. I don't know. It might have been Vancouver. From Vancouver to Winnipeg, drive. Like, this motherfucker somehow drove there, and I don't know how he did it in 2 days or a day or two. I think it's about a day trip, 24 hours. I think you could do it. But I remember on the way he stopped at a gas station or something, picked up the fucking VHS of Phantom of the Menace, and I read that, not read it, but I looked at the pictures because I think I was too young at the time to even. I just looked at that Darth Maul character. I'm like, yo, this is a demon guy. Like, they got a demon with a lightsaber, and he's got the dual lightsaber. Like, you'd only ever seen the single lightsaber. Darth Maul, and I like Jar Jar Binks too, right? They say that was the worst. They say Phantom of the Menace. They go, the little kid can't drive a fucking one of those space pods. I watched Phantom of the Menace, and I go, there's a lot of people that don't include that in the entire trilogy. They go, that was one of the worst movies. I've only ever watched Phantom of the Menace back as a kid, and every other Star Wars, I go, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, the older ones and the new ones, Rogue One. I can't get over the ball guy, the BB-8 in the sand, bro. Anyone that knows, if you ever driven in sand before, you're just spinning. There's no way the rolling guy, and he wouldn't roll in the. But again, maybe I'm a hater. Maybe it's just me. But I go, every movie in Star Wars franchise sucks except the Phantom of the Menace is the only. That's the only movie in Star Wars that exists. Attack of the Clones wasn't shit. You know what I mean? General Grievous. Hello. Whatever. Hello, Kenobi. It's just stupid, bro. Hello there, Kenobi. That shit was garbage. He was a badass. Then he was badass, though. I remember playing Battlefront 2 all night with my little brother. It was fun to play him because he got to carry 6 lightsabers, right? He got one. He had like the spider arms. That was a cool thing. And Darth Vader is a badass. He's a badass in general. But I never understood, why didn't he just force choke everybody? Why didn't you just keep doing that? And again, it would be horrible for movie if he just constantly just choked everybody like this. But if he force choked people so violently all the time, but he only did it on his minions, he never really. I just keep force choke, just keep doing the force choke, dude. They just stick. But Darth Maul, bro, Darth Maul was. It was such. He's such a good. He was like the only guy, like maybe in Black Panther, Michael B. Jordan, when he finally said like, listen, man, you guys had it so good while I was over there, and they brought me over in chains in a boat to America, and I was left in the cold like a dog or whatever he said. That line where you go, oh, maybe the villain is just he's just a troubled, he's just a hurt man, deep down, and just needs love. But again, they should have just had it in Black Panther 2, instead of having females, which tanked the movie franchise indefinitely, throw Michael B. Jordan as the guy. Put him as it didn't. I thought he was the king anyways. After in the movie, didn't they kill him off? Didn't he win or something? Oh no, he won eventually. I think they killed him off. Either way, I don't know. I'm getting a little off into the weeds of this whole thing. Jalen Brunson. Yo, New York niggas is up, bro. Get on your puffy coats. Get your fucking Timbs on, nigga. Put Fat Joe back on. You know what I'm saying? New York, son. You know what the fuck going on? It's New York, nigga. I'm from New York. New York. Play 50 Cent 1,000 times. Right? New York niggas is so up, bro. New York niggas is so up. Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with. Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with. I really liked Old Dirty Bastard to me. The fact that there was, I think Joe Budden was talking about on his podcast, so excuse me if you already, for all the people that are all the four people that, if the people on my podcast, you heard Joe Budden talk, I probably mentioned it too, but there's a story about, and it might not even have been Joe Budden, it could have been someone else. I seen these guys on a podcast talk about the absolute, I can only describe old DB as niggatry. That is a nigga. That's what a nigga is. That's, and you don't have to, it's like almost like country, redneck, unapologetic, but you know what I mean? Like, you just, motherfucker, no shirt in a business meeting, picking lint off his belly button type shit. This nigga had a feature with Mariah Carey. And he asked for like 15 grand or something like that. That's all he needed. And Mariah Carey's team was like, you want to pay that? She's like, of course. I'm fucking Mariah Carey. Literally, we did millions. Why is he asking for so little? Could have asked for at least doubled it. 30 grand is still laughable, right? That's all he needed, right? He said he needed it real quick before he even started rapping, bro. Right? He got into the studio, was like, can I get a cash? No checks, nothing. Don't have a bank account. No cash, just cash, bro. When a nigga doesn't have a bank, when a 40-year-old nigga doesn't have a bank account, it's hilarious, bro. Just need cash real quick. I gotta go do some stuff. Clearly came back drunk and on something, yelling and screaming, did half of his verse, said that was good. They said, dude, what the hell? Mariah said, this is half of it. He did half of a fucking verse. We paid him for full. He literally was like, y'all niggas want me back in? I gotta get mine again. I gotta get drunk. You gotta give me some money again. So he did get paid twice. Which is so funny because at the beginning he could have just asked for it. Like the mental foresight of ODB, I don't know. And it's funny because his son, young or Little Dirty Bastard or whatever, seemed like when they are on that song, there's one song on one of the Wu-Tang albums with him and his son rapping, and there's a certain point in the song when I think it's Young Dirty Bastard, whatever his name is, the young guy, his son, which he sounds like him, and he's got that one song, Mama on welfare, Daddy died, not fair, That was a good song. But there's another song. I think it's "Dirt the Boogie," where I'm pretty sure that was his son on it. Young Dirt, can you give old Dirt? Can you give young Buck a G? Yeah. And I think it could be played off as a G of just give me a grand real quick. Or it could have been like, I want some of your drugs that you're doing in the back of the thing, which I'm not projecting, I'm allegedly, because this is all just what I thought. And with hip hop, it's when you're in the studio with some of these guys that are the legends, or you're with some of these, and you go like the 50 Cent said it, right? This is not coming from just some local rapper guy. This is coming from literally 50 Cent. In his book, not Get Rich or Die Trying, it's another one. Think Rich or no. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, no. Work Harder, Hustle Smarter by 50 Cent. And he teaches you how to hustle harder and hustle smarter. Why? People go. You think he is one of the lines is literally, and this is so fucking corny. I don't know who. And then he had help from I think a white lady to write these things. I don't know why these niggas. I mean, you're 50 Cent. Whatever you say is pretty much gospel. That fucking most of these people, bro. You're 50 Cent, but. They always need some fucking white person to polish it up. Everybody does. Every nigga does. Fuck. In the industry. But he said, I don't understand why people say work smarter, not harder. Why not do both, nigga? I'm a hustler. I hustle hard and I hustle smart. I do both, right? Some days you're whatever. I don't know. Some days you're chopping a tree, other days you're building a house, right? Some shit like that. But in that book, he stated clearly, he's like, I never understood why these guys, like, drugs and alcohol are such a vital role in hip hop. And granted, it's the creativity. Some people are nervous, maybe. Some people literally have nothing and they have to hit some weird realm. I've never, I think this is what he said, but I was literally listening to that book going like, that's how I felt my whole life. That book, also listening to Patrice O'Neal when he's going in about women, I'm like, wow, I literally had the exact same, but I didn't know you could say that out loud. I thought you just let dudes that had alcohol and drug problems, let them just, tiptoe around their problem. Nah, man. If you have to drink and smoke and pop pills to come up with some of the shittiest lyrics known to mankind that just sound cool. Like, it sounds cool because you're like Future. No one, it's so original because no one would, in a sober mind, would even think that shit would fly ever. But it sounds cool because it's Future. Right? McDonald's say, if everyday McDonald's sounds good till you hit the Future, right? Until you look in the mirror after 4 fucking years of straight McDonald's and you go, oh fuck, I drastically aged, right? And I have heart problems, right? If you eat too much McDonald's and fast food in general, those burgers, man, they hit you for days, right? A bum can survive off of 2 weeks off of a burger pack from McDonald's, you know what I mean? 2-3 McDonald's trips, and he's good for 2 weeks, bro. You're good for you got your weekly calorie intake off of a couple meals at McDonald's, right? A couple of those fucking burgers and fries, which is crazy, but you got 150% of sodium in just a small fry. You get a large fry with a big burger. and you can get those double fucking quarter. You can get literally 2 double quarter pounders, which essentially is a whole pound of beef mixed in with like probably literally a pound of fucking the flour of the bun. And just fuck you up, right? But I liken that to these guys doing drugs and drinking. Now McDonald's, once in a while, I'll do drugs. I'd smoke weed and drink, or fucking. The most I'll do, honestly, the most pills I've ever done was literally T3s. I'll take a T3 if my knee's acting up, right? I'll pop a T3 and I'll think, ooh, got that codeine in me, bro. Time to flow like the wind in the river and the seas of the doing that type of I'm so dope though, right? And when you're high off of codeine or any kind of cough syrup in general, right, that Dex hits you pretty much the same. People go, time goes by slower. It's a painkiller. So I think everything in life it drags on or kind of goes fast because people can get lost in the moment itself. And I think when you do enough drugs, you kind of just you live for the moment. So many people are worried about either the past or the present that they don't have time to narrow in on the future. Well, I mean, the guy's name is Future too, so he's fucking living in the future, I guess. But I'm in the present. Sorry, yeah, I meant to say present. Yeah, you get to narrow in on the present at hand, right? What you're doing. What the hell? Where I was going? Fuck, what the hell? What the fuck am I saying, dude? I should probably got high before this shit, bro. What the fuck am I talking about? But rappers that need, and I think even like athletes, right? Athletes that need to do steroids, which, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how the athlete game works. I don't know what they're feeding LeBron. Like, they could be giving that nigga horse mule or horse feed. You know what I mean? Keep that motherfucker bucking. I don't know if he's still playing. I don't know if he's gonna be playing, but he played a pretty fantastic year for an old man, right? If LeBron James showed up at my YMCA, listen, and he's not, say he's not even a star, just a guy in a mask, and he's LeBron though. All of those little kids that can kind of dunk, there's these young niggas that are dunking and they're killing it, and I can't even compete with those young niggas. But LeBron can go pretty much anywhere and still dominate. I mean, he's still pretty dominant. Luka Doncic, I don't know, these white boys, these Middle Eastern, or not mid-European, Midwestern European guys that come, they're good. They're statistically they're good. They're like Brad Pitt in that movie Moneyball. They on paper they're good and their stats are well and they do good, but winning games takes something else. There's something to win a basketball game, right? There's a level of and I think it's Jokic. I think it's Jokic that after I think they won a title or something with the Mavs. I don't know if it was Jokic or with the Mavs. He won a title or something, and they said, what are you gonna do after winning your title? I'll probably go home and read a book or something. The motherfucker did not give to and I think even the franchise kind of looks at these guys and goes, okay, this motherfucker is not a sellable. He's not you want a guy either popping things or crying like Jalen Brunson just did on camera. You know what I mean? Someone has to you gotta actually want it, and that's what I playing football. We won our championships as as a junior varsity in our first year of high school, we played football junior varsity. We won, and I remember being like, this is like when we went for varsity football, we got crushed. We were suddenly in another league, and we weren't ready. I don't know what it was. We just had that, and I remember going like, it's because we already won, right? We won, and it was like magical, and I guess everyone was still kind of figuring it out because it was junior varsity, so we had like just straight skill, and I guess a little bit of that luck, and we were all together. But then I fell out. I was not in it. I remember specifically there was one game when a bunch of these niggas piled on me, and my leg was like that, and I was like, yo, you guys get the fuck off me. I was yelling. I was like, and I looked around like I was gonna and I looked up at all the coaches and the refs and shit, and I'm like, put me out, and like, everything's okay. I'm like, I'm done. I just sat on the bench. I'm like, I'm done. I'm going into I'm using my brain, you know. I'm like, I'm getting fucked up. Or I literally was like, my body's, I'm not gonna be a CFL player because these motherfuckers you know, the best CFL players in Winnipeg, you know, Canada. We're not going to the no guy is gonna be, no NFL draft is coming to fucking Winnipeg colleges or even high schools, right? This is, you know, it's not gonna happen, man. All those guys that, you know, some of those guys did get up there, like an O-line guys, and but they don't make money, man. They end up getting hurt. I knew there's one guy at the gym and this guy, man, and this is the sad thing about the football, which they need some sort of brain thing for those guys, because like there's at the gym. He told me the same story twice, like a month apart. Told me 1 month, he's like, yeah, you know, I like your tattoo, man. You got a bunch of tattoos, you know, how'd you get them? And we had the exact same conversation, and I'm like, yeah, because he's like, yeah, you know, I was in football. I love football because we were talking about football and talking about the games and whatever. But he didn't remember having that conversation with me a month ago, but we had it was like verbatim. Like, I was like, this isn't deja vu. I remember it, but he had no clue. He's just seen me again. I'm like, dude, I have literally Egyptian gods on. I got Medusa tattooed. I got literally like, they're pretty fucking rememberable tattoos that he had. He just, those are cool, man. I got a couple, you know, he's talking about getting some tattoos or whatever, and I just read, oh, you're gonna think that, I had to stop myself from going like, hey buddy, you told me that, and I'm gonna just finish your sentences for you, because I remember exactly what you kind of were talking about. But he got rocked one time in football, had a brain injury, fucked him up, you know, couldn't play again, but he's like, he just loved the game or whatever, and I'm like, that could have been me, for sure. That could have been me if I was fucking. I'm not a football. I mean, football is fun, and but I wasn't good at it. And I thank God that I wasn't good at it, because if I was good at it, fuck, I'd be fucking. This podcast would probably not exist. I wouldn't have the brain capacity to remember to do it, let alone. I mean, and I do come in late every now and then. I mean. But that's just strictly off of pure choice. With football, I was gonna wrap it up into some other shit. Football. Fuck, I had something else. Yeah, no, it's just sad when, like, you know, I like. Because football is it's an amazing time. It was like, that was the one time where I was like, yo, like when we're in the huddle together and it's like, yo, you got me, I got you. Yo, we're this is as close to war as I'll ever probably be in, and it was like, and I remember my coach would slap me on the ass, which again, we were kids. probably nowadays, I mean, but it was like it was a fun thing, man. And I remember he would call me Herbert. I'm like, my name's Jeffrey Herbert. It's Herbert. There's a hard T. And he's like, there you go. Use that emotion. Now get out there. Slap me on the ass. I'd be like, and I would be so angry because he'd keep calling me Herbert. But he knew like that would rile me up till I'd pop a dude in the chest and he'd fall down and I'm like, and they're like, it was the one time where you laid someone out on the ground and they're like, oh, gasping for air, and you look around and everyone's like, good job. You get high fives. I mean, when in society can you fucking tackle a dude, throw him down to the ground, and stand over him, and everyone goes, fuck yeah, man, and you start headbutting each other like, yeah, let's go. That's the one. I mean, in society, you don't get many of those, right? A fighter beating up a guy, but it's also like not in the fucking. It's not in the there's no one in the cage, but you can't high five the ref right after you knock the guy out. You wait. There's a whole series of things in fights, right? Tag team in WWE, I don't know, but again. But I remember the one time in football, man. And this is like, just with the Jalen Brunson win and talking about celebrations. When we won the championship, that last game, we got back to our huddle or our fucking little den. That it didn't stink for whatever reason. It always stunk, but the one time we won, and like we were all partying, and I swear to God, man, it didn't smell. It just smelled good. It smelled like a win, right? And they brought the guys the guy that called me the coach that called me Hair Bear, the little guy. He was such a smooth guy. He's like, don't tell anybody about this. Started handing champagne out to everybody, and we were looking like, we're fucking junior varsity guys. We're like, 15, 16 at the time. Pop some champagne. Coach said it's okay. Whatever. Pop the champagne. We're like, we'll drink. I remember specifically going like, walking through and everyone's all partying, having a good time. Like, bro, the Wolf of Wall Street, when he gets up and all the naked hookers and the boys are all fucked out laying on the thing, and he gets up and he looks out at the Vegas Tower or whatever. And I remember walking around going like, holding the bottle. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, guys, that. And after a while, he just said, guys, it's non-alcoholic, by the way. Don't be telling your parents like that I got you drunk. Look at the bottle. 0% non-alcohol champagne. We're like, oh. Suddenly, I'm not even drunk at all. Suddenly back into like, oh yeah. It's a placebo. But it was the high of the winning and everything. And just the feeling. That is better than taking any Percocets, any heroin, any pills. Fuck, even like these pills and that they give on the fucking shows. Because I watched the American network or whatever, and they fucking have these crazy, like, do you have lymphoma? Or no, not lymphoma. Do you have eczema? That skin rash? Take a pill. You have sore throat? Take a pill. You feeling a little sad? Take a pill. It's like, holy fuck. Hey, you're fat? Take a pill. You're too skinny? Take a pill. It's just a pill, bro. There's how many, is there literally a pill for everything at this point?